I proceed, Judge?
You may.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Can you please state your name and spell your last name?
Joe Claggett, Claggett.
And how are you employed?
I am a detective with the Plano Police Department.
How long have you been with the Plano Police Department?
Over 24 years.
And what division are you assigned to?
I'm assigned to the intelligence unit.
We just heard from Detective Johnson. Is he one of the other members of your intelligence unit?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to direct your attention to March 20th of 2018. Were you involved in the arrest and investigation of Billy Chemirmir?
Yes, sir, I was.
Tell me what, that morning or earlier in that day of 3/20, where did you go?
I was directed to go to 4500 Pear Ridge in an attempt to locate Mr. Chemirmir.
And is that the Rancho Palisades apartments?
Yes, sir.
You had an address that you thought might be his address and apartment.
That's correct.
When you went to investigate that, did you learn that there was a different number that he was more recently associated with?
Yes, sir. Originally, we believed it was apartment 531, but after contacting leasing staff, I realized he was probably in apartment 3110.
And then did apartment 3110 have a specific parking spot assigned to it?
Yes, sir. Number 67.
So you now have the parking spot, the apartment number, and the best place to try to find Billy Chemirmir. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So what do you all do as a team in regards to that information?
We set up in our vehicles in the parking lot around that apartment and different parts of the complex.
You also have someone keep an eye on the apartment itself to make sure that there is
As best we could, yes.
permission to approach.
You may.
She states exhibit number 67. Is this a, what is states exhibit number 67?
This is a map of the apartment complex, Rancho Palisades.
Rancho Palisades there at 4500.
Yes, sir.
Law office states exhibit number 67.
No objection.
Alright, so state's exhibit number 67 will be in there.
All right, so as we're looking at states exhibit number 67, just to get kind of oriented here, you got Frankfurt Road here. Did you see that?
Yes, sir.
And then this is Pier Ridge right here, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So really, it should be oriented, if you think of north as up, okay?
Correct.
So that's how it would sit. And further over here on the carpet area will be the toll road.
Yes, sir.
Going north and south.
Yes, sir.
I'm just kidding this way. All right, so there's some, you've marked up, or someone has marked up this, this area of, that's closer to, there's an X right here. What is located underneath that X?
That would be denoting apartment 3110, the building that contains apartment 3110.
Okay. And then you have written down here arrest location is at spot 67.
Yes, sir.
And then there's a name here of Claggett. That's your name, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that's where you were set up there. Were you in a car or are you standing outside?
I was in my vehicle.
All right. And then there's a Hughes over here. What is that?
That is Sergeant Hughes. He is sergeant of the surveillance unit for Plano Police Department.
There's initials of BK right there.
Correct.
Who would that be?
That's Detective Bill Knight, who's also a member of the surveillance unit.
There's a Garcia over here.
Yes.
And who's that right there?
That's Sergeant Dominic Sala, who at the time was a sergeant over the intelligence unit.
And then there's one other name here, Harris.
Yes, that was Detective Glenn Harris.
And so you all have kind of stationed yourselves so that any in or out of this location, you'd have eyes on whoever's coming and going.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let me direct your attention to about maybe around say around 5:50 in the evening. Did you get a call on your radio about activity happening?
Yes, I did.
And who was that from?
That was from Sergeant Hughes. He advised that he observed a car pulling in from west to east, and that it was possibly being driven by Mr. Chemirmir.
All right, and there's some arrows here. So that's an entry coming in. You're saying from west to east, and then are these arrows showing the direction that car drove?
That is correct.
And as that car is driving, as new eyes are picking him up, are you hearing that over the radio? I see him now, and
Yes, sir.
And relaying to you. That's how your team works.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At some point in time, do you see that car?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and where does that car go?
That car drove directly in front of my vehicle, west to east, it then bypassed spot 67 and continued east out of my vehicle.
And over here, it's written on here a dumpster.
Yes, sir.
Why is that significant?
Detective Knight, marked as BK, advised via the radio that is
Well,
where.
I'm going to be able to hear somebody testifying as to what Detective Knight saw. So,
It goes towards the investigation and what his team was doing and relying on that information as part of the investigation.
All right, so it'll be oval. You make it to
Okay. So were you given any information about what happened there at that dumpster?
That Mr. Chemirmir had stopped the vehicle there and had exited the vehicle.
Okay. And did he make any? Did he exit the vehicle and go anywhere, or leave the vehicle, or what?
He was just around the dumpster. I don't recall any other information given at that point.
At some point in time, do you know how long that took for him to be over there, or how long from when you lost sight of him to when you saw him again, approximately?
As best as I can recall, a couple minutes possibly at the
Okay.
most.
At some point in time, do you see him again?
Correct.
And do you recall what kind of car he was in?
It was a gray Hyundai, I believe a four-door. It had Tennessee license plates on it. I do know that.
And where did that car go to at that point in time?
I observed the car coming back to the west, and it pulled nose into spot 67.
All right. So once it gets into spot 67, what happens next?
At that point, with most of us believing that was in fact Mr. Chemirmir, we decided to effect the arrest for his outstanding warrant. I then exited my vehicle and approached him wearing my police vest with clear police markings. I went
Let me just stop you there. So are you in civilian clothes at that time?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
So you're not wearing a uniform, or you're not in a marked squad car or anything?
No, sir, I'm not.
In fact, what about the rest of your team? Are they?
We are not in, we are in unmarked vehicles and we wear plain clothes.
But you do have, for your protection, I'm assuming, some sort of safety gear when you're actually going to go and do
Yes,
something.
sir.
Tell me about that.
We wear a vest that has ballistic protection on it, also has our radio and the police equipment we would need. And we always make sure we have clear markings that say police across the front and back.
And are you armed?
Yes, sir.
So when you make the approach to this car that's parked in number 67, what do you say or what do you do?
I approach him and I see that it's Mr. Chemirmir. The car door was open. I identified myself as police, tell him to get out of the vehicle. At that point, I got no reaction from him. observed that when I approach him on the driver's side, I observed that in his left hand, he is carrying a clear plastic bag with jewelry and also holding a white envelope in that hand. I repeatedly tell him he's under arrest to get out of the car. He would not get out of the car, so I pulled him out of the vehicle and proned him out in the parking lot.
Were the other detectives that were working with you, did they start showing up as well?
Yes, everybody converged on the vehicle.
When you approached him, was your weapon drawn?
Yes, it was.
And did he clearly see you? I mean, could you
Clearly-
lock eyes?
Yes, he clearly saw me.
And how many times do you think you asked him to get out of the car? Commanded him,
At least 3 times.
but he wasn't budging.
He was not coming out of the car.
You had to extract him from the
Physically,
car.
yes, physically extract him from the vehicle.
The items that were in his hands, what happened to those?
Those then spilled out onto the ground and were retrieved by one of the other people out there on scene.
Your focus was on Mr.
My
Chemirmir.
focus was on Mr. Chemirmir.
For your safety, for his safety.
Correct.
Commissioner Roach?
Okay.
Commissioner Western Market States Exhibits 68, 69, 70, and 71. You recognize these?
Yes, I do.
Okay. 68 and 69, what are they?
Those are pictures of Mr. Chemirmir.
States Exhibit number 70,
That is a picture of the vehicle that he was in.
hanging on the rear bumper, are those the items from
I do see,
71 is a close-up.
yes, that's the bag I saw. And then I did see an envelope. And then, yes, that's apparently the money that was in the envelope. It appeared there was a lot of money. I didn't count the money. In fact, it appeared like there was a large stack of bills in that envelope.
We'll offer States Exhibit 68, 69, 70, and 71.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibits 68 through 71 will be admitted.
States Exhibit number 68. Do you recognize do you see Mr. Chemirmir in the courtroom today?
I could see, that is Mr. Chemirmir right there at the end of the table closest to me.
Okay, can you describe maybe, what does his tie look like?
I can't, if you could, sir, if you could turn my way, it looks like it's black and white. At least the top part of it, that's all I can see.
Okay, we'll let the record reflect the witness and identify the defendant on the court.
The record will so reflect that the defendant was identified in open court.
And that's the same individual that you arrested that day.
Yes, sir.
And this is how he was dressed and how he appeared that day to you.
Yes, sir.
There's Exhibit 69, another angle of Mr. Chemirmir.
Yes, sir.
You had said that this Sonata had Tennessee plates. Is this the Sonata parked in spot 67 that you removed Mr. Chemirmir from?
Yes, sir.
In State's Exhibit number 71, are these the items that were in Mr. Chemirmir's hands when you extracted him from that car?
The jewelry and the, I believe that's the envelope with the money. Yes, sir.
And you know that there was money, it looked like a
I
lot of
could
bills
see,
inside there, but,
yes.
but you just know that that stuff was in his hands?
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
Well, out here in State's Exhibit number 71, there's also a phone right there as well, is that right?
Yes, sir. Appears to be.
I'll pass witness.
All right, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a brief break. I will ask the witness to step down, and you can go and wait for us to return. And at this time, we will go ahead and take about a 10-minute break or so.